Hi, I'm Elizabeth Meeks, and I'm a native Arizonan, born and raised, and currently still living in Gilbert, Arizona. I was raised here in Chandler, Arizona, with one sister and two brothers, and a very strong mother who had to be strong because our dad was missing in action in Vietnam and was lost the day I was due to be born. So I never knew him, and I would grow up not having a realistic vision of what marriage looks like in a home. And I believe that that affected me in many ways. And so reading over these marital myths, definitely I can see some of the mistakes that I have made throughout my life. So I've been married and divorced, and I came into this marriage 19 years ago with one son. My husband and I blended our family. He had four daughters, and interestingly enough, they all have H names. So we have Haley, Hillary, Hayden, Hannah, and Harrison. So we thought that was kind of fun. So we did some counseling to try to blend our families in a healthy way and to try to break up some of these myths of what we should expect in marriage and in a family that weren't realistic. And so this chapter makes a lot of sense to me. So in going over the marital myths that they should instinctively know what we want to be happy, I definitely think that that is a myth, and communication is key, that we have to learn to talk to each other. And I am the communicator in my family. I definitely am the one that has to bring up the deep emotional talks. My husband will avoid those at all costs. So it's more like a 90-10. There's no 50-50 myth here. Now, interestingly enough, when it comes to day-to-day communication, he is the better communicator. And so we definitely have to work in those areas, but I think it's realistic to expect that you share with each other what you want to happen during the day, where you're going to be and what you're doing. And communication is definitely an important part of your day. And I definitely could be better at communicating and on the daily aspect. So, and no matter how I behave, my spouse should simply love me because he's my spouse. That is definitely a myth. I don't believe that that is the way to a happy marriage. And you have to behave certain ways in a marriage so that each other can be happy, and listen to each other when one is doing something that is upsetting you. You've got to be able to have that open line of communication and share with each other what your feelings are. And so it doesn't always bring a love just because they're your spouse. I think that that is a myth. I can change my spouse by pointing out their inadequacies. I think that that can just damage a relationship. I think we have to be careful about how we say things and be thoughtful and empathetic, and that it takes a lot of respect, compassion, love, forgiveness when we say the wrong thing, but we can learn from that and move on. And I think it's realistic to expect that in a marriage. So the more my spouse discloses positive and negative information to me, the closer I'll feel. Now, you feel close when you're sharing information, but some of the negative information doesn't need to be passed on. I don't think that you have to say just everything that is on your mind. And I think being respectful to each other and thinking about how that could hurt each other before you just spout off what you think. I think that that is a marital myth that needs to be debunked, and that you need to be careful how you say things and be respectful. Do I think that you have to feel better about your partner before you can change your behavior towards them? No, I think it's a choice that we can change, and I think it is definitely an important part of communication, letting them know how you're feeling, but you can choose to look at their good points rather than all of the bad points that they have, and focus on those. And maintaining romantic love is key to marital happiness. Now, it is an important part of marital happiness, but as you age, things change and you have to be patient. So it's not always a 50-50 partnership, and you have to be patient, and you're not always going to believe the same way. But when you love each other, I think that it is possible to make a marriage work, and I think that it is realistic.